Hello, so I have a review today on Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. So I came across this book a couple times. First was when I was looking at like financing stuff. This book came really recommended in one of those YouTube videos, and I kind of forgot about it. And then my boyfriend came across this guy, and it got brought up again. So I thought, yeah, I'll check it out. So this book is The Rich Dad Poor Dad comes from when he was a kid. He had a friend. His friend's dad was really rich. His own dad wasn't wealthy, but he was very well educated, and he's basically learned from the two perspectives of how to be the rich guy he is today in a you can do it too kind of attitude. And this book is separated by chapters, and he kind of gives like a what do you call it, like a life story or a life example in the chapter. And then at the very end, there are, let's find one here. Okay, it's like these study sessions. And when you flip the page, it's basically a summary of everything you just read. It's very repetitive. It seems kind of like you don't really need to read the summary. It's like reading the chapter over again. And then part of the thing there is he has these left hemisphere moments and right hemisphere moments, like kind of emotional versus logical perspectives. And then it's a section for reflecting. He gives a bunch of quotes, and you got to think to yourself, well, what is he actually saying here? And then there's usually some extra questions just for you to think about. Sometimes there's vocab, and there's basically one page or half a page where you could put notes. I didn't make any notes. I can also sum up this book very, very quickly, which is most people, they have an income, they get paid, they pay their bills, and they don't really have anything left over. His thing is that you pay yourself first, like, into an assets column. So it could be something worth a lot or like stocks, that sort of thing. Then you pay your bills. And people are like, well, what if I don't have enough to pay my bills after I pay myself first? He's like, well, then you need to work harder and find more ways to get money. It's like, well, okay. But most people are already working really hard, so that's kind of hard to do unless you already have like a head start. He didn't have any head start, but he also was, in a time where he worked at this grocery store and he got paid in dimes. Like, I think this book would have worked really well, like, maybe 40 years ago or so, but today it's quite outdated. Even though it says it's been updated, it's, it's a little bit unrealistic for these times. Even in some of his examples where he sees an opportunity that someone else didn't, a lot of it seems like it's just down to pure luck. And, if you have the money for the down payment, great, but, you got to work your way up there. So, although I thought there was, some interesting things to think about, I didn't feel like it was really relevant to me today. It might be a good thing to read if, you have a teenager in the house and they don't know anything about finance. It might be a good little perspective to give them. But I wouldn't be like, this is the holy grail of finance. Everyone has to read it. In fact, I probably wouldn't recommend it, except for those rare things where it might be okay as a supplementary thing for someone young learning. It's, well, here's exactly what I was talking about with the, he has these little graph pictures with where your money should be going. And, yeah, there's like 10 chapters or something in here. I'll tell you what they're called. There's the intro, and then there's The Rich Don't Work for Money, Why Teach Financial Literacy, Mind Your Own Business, The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations, The Rich Invent Money, Work to Learn, Don't Work for Money, Overcoming Obstacles, Getting Started, Still Want More? Here are some to-dos. So the Work to Learn, Don't Work for Money was about how you should have an open mind and be constantly looking for new opportunities, just new things that you can learn from someone that's been there, done that. So I do agree with that, but overall, not my favorite book, not very useful. I have read other finance books that I thought were way better than this, so that's my take. So if you guys have read this book, let me know what you thought. And if you weren't a huge fan of it and you like something else better, tell me what that is. Thank you.